Oh my gosh, I cannot explain to you the strength. It actually pulled muscle out the end of my finger.
Guess what week it is?
It's beach week, baby. We are back at Ocean Isle, and I'm gonna show you guys how we like to catch up a mess of blue crabs and cook up something really special. Well, I got a little bit of a problem here. My dad just called me and said that his motor won't crank. He's got a nice flats boat that we use. We go down to the coast each year, and we need that to get out into deeper water and set our crab traps. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've called around and all the boat rental places are jammed up. It's a holiday weekend. Crabbing's one of our favorite things, and Afton loves it maybe more than anybody. So I gotta work something out.
Problem solved.
Well, here's my next problem that I just uncovered. Never before in my life have I ever said the Baby Mia was too big. That is a 12-foot boat. That is a 10-foot trailer.
No, our neighbors are probably horrified by the sight of this.
I put a call into the North Carolina Division of Marine Fisheries for a wildlife officer to hopefully give me a call back, because there's some very specific areas where you can put crab pots and a lot of areas where you cannot. And these things can change from year to year. So where I put these pots last year might not be appropriate now. This is John.
Yes, this is Josh. North Carolina Marine Patrol.
The legal locations for recreational crab pots, I just can't find the proclamations online.
Basically, all you got to really know about is just don't put it around the inlets.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Thank you. We're running here and get my crab bait. We got to get in the game. We don't have these pots in the water yet. All right, so we got a little bit of work yet to do to get the boat out and get out there to set the majority of our crab traps, but we got to get in the game. So I'm gonna take our first trap and go down here and set it on the dock just to get something going. Get our fish heads going. How many we can fit in there? 4 is the number.
How about what we're using?
Fish heads. Crabs will eat about anything. We used to use, we use drumsticks. You can use fish heads or fish, guts, leftovers from your bait and whatever it is. It almost doesn't matter. Anything that's gonna be kind of oily and put some sin out in the water, they seem to love it. All right, you might run into this. If you're using a rope that's not a leg core rope or doesn't sink on its own, just take a pyramid sinker and a zip tie. Go ahead and attach it to your line. This will do the job of at least holding that line down towards the bottom and keep it out of the way of passing boat traffic. Got somebody coming here that's gonna appreciate this and keep it from getting wrapped around the propellers. Make it a little bit safer for fishermen too. They'll get hung up less often. They'll appreciate you. We had some people reach out to us on YouTube after our last video and tell me that these crab traps were actually upside down. This is kind of the way I was using it before. Just makes intuitive sense to me that the crabs are gonna come in here after the bait, they're gonna go down in the bottom and not be able to get back out. That's actually the way that they're supposed to sit. This seems counterintuitive to me, but this is, you look them up, Google crab traps, and this is the way that they sit. So, folks are probably right. We're gonna try it this way and see if maybe I was losing crabs that I should have been catching. Go ahead and drop some weights down here in the bottom so this thing doesn't topple over and drift away in the current. All right, so here's the tricky part. I want to toss this thing so that it lands and sinks, hopefully flat, because I don't want it to tip over on its side as the tide comes in and out. This current gets really strong through here, so I want this thing to land flat where I've got all my escape holes on the vertical upright sides. Except I'm too far. I need more rope. With the trap set on the dock, it's time to get the rest of the traps in the water. Check your local laws and restrictions. North Carolina requires a pink buoy for recreational crabbers. I want to head down here to the dock at absolute low tide and make sure I'm still going to be able to launch the boat with enough water clearance to get in and out. And I want to see this current because this is a narrow corridor down here. This current is ripping. I don't know if we're going to be able to easily paddle back against the current to get back to the dock. We're going to find out. Turn! It is the 4th of July. We forgot one important part.
That's right.
There we go. It's gonna make it harder to paddle, but
We're good now. The flags are causing an issue here. Worth it.
America. The challenge that we're having is finding some place that's got enough water depth in here. It is extremely shallow in here right now. Part of the reason I want to do this at low tide is to make sure that the water's not going to get any lower. So if the crab traps are covered now and there's enough water over top of them for it to be navigable through here, good to go. First trap away. This thing's only sitting about 2 feet below the surface right now, but you gotta leave enough line on this thing so that when this water comes up another 6+ feet, there's plenty of line. It's not gonna drag your trap up off the bottom. We'll come check them in another day or two because we're close enough to the house. If we've got nothing, we'll move around this corner, around this point where we've got some more water depth, and I think that might be the better area anyway. I'm just concerned about getting down there and getting stuck like Gilligan on a 3-hour tour. Current is picking up.
Payday.
Let's talk a little bit about the traps that we use for this. This is actually, I guess it's trending towards a commercial crab pot. It's got the 3 escape hatches on the vertical facing sides. The actual dimensions of the trap can vary, but your regulations will vary by state. You certainly want to do the right thing for the wildlife and make sure that the smaller, the next generation has a chance to escape from these escape holes. And today I'm going to try something a little bit different. It seems like we tend to get more crabs out of these things when we do it upside down and mount these things with the bait trap facing up instead of down. So we're gonna try it both ways. We've been doing it both ways at the dock. I'm still seeing more results when I do it kind of my way, the backwards way. We're gonna try it. I'll try it the right way a few more times and just see what works the best. It's heavy, so heavy. Good to go. Ready?
Ready.
And now we wait. Should we check it?
Whoop, whoop. Made it.
Let's see how we did. Ooh. That's some good sized crabs right there. Every one of those is gonna measure. That's awesome, guys. What do you think? Stuff coming up off the fish and everything out of the bait trap. Look at that. Can you see that on the surface of the water? That's what brings them in because they can smell it. All right, let's see how this one did. And I'm curious how this did because we've been doing pretty well with the inverted traps over in the other canal. Let me see how this one did, mounted the right way. Ooh,
oh, look at
big
that
boy.
Crab.
Check out the stone crab, y'all.
Oh, look at the big hermit crab in there. Oh, the kids are gonna freak.
Oh
Look
man,
at that crab.
Look at the stone crab, y'all.
I can't believe we can't keep him.
I'm so sorry we can't keep him. There's like 6 or 8 weeks out of the year that you can't keep stone crabs, and I'm smack in the middle of that 6-week period. Oh.
Look at that guy. He is all kinds of perfect.
I may have to just jump in the water here. Sometimes it's easier just to do your culling when you're standing on dry land. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get this stone crab out of here, man. That is a big boy. Check him out. Oh my gosh, I cannot explain to you the strength. I mean, as he's trying to like curl me back in towards his mouth, look at the size of this claw right here. That's gonna go on the jumbo to colossal size at Joe's Stone Crab, baby. I cannot believe this guy. Check him out. In my limited experience with stone crabs, I don't think they're quite as aggressive as blue crabs because I don't think I'd have walked up and just snatched them up by the claws, some of those big boys we got in that cooler. This guy's got to go back because he's just out of season. Heckgummit. Here we go. Be free, live your best life. It seems like all I'm doing this week is turning loose the biggest stuff I run across. Live your best life. Man. There he sits right there.
Look at him. God, he's big.
We got, as the current from the tides flows in and out of here, it'll come this way, right to left on the falling tide and the other way on a rising tide. These little culverts and creeks in here into this backwater creates like an eddy. So as the tide rises and falls, you're gonna have a change in the current right there. And you're gonna have an opportunity for anything that wants to just hang out in there and feed. And that's what I'm hoping these crabs are gonna do, is kind of wait on bait fish and stuff to congregate or swim by in that area. If you look at kind of the shape of the bank right there, as opposed to something up there where you've got a flat beach, the shape of that bank tells me I'm probably gonna have a little bit more water depth, which I need in order to cover these traps up at low tide. Maybe the most important factor, Afton picked it. I don't run this show. I just drive the boat.
As the week wore on, a tropical storm got closer and closer moving up the East Coast.
It's blowing too hard to reach our crab traps right now. Every time we take a stroke, we paddle forward 2 feet and the wind blows us back 3 feet. This is the measure of my dedication. Boat to this channel and to not losing my equipment in an oyster bed. And it hurts. There we go.
Ooh,
good haul. Look at that.
Nice.
Oh man,
We
good haul.
knew
for
that
one.
spot was good.
Oh, all right. We got a couple more. Some good size.
It's a good day.
2 that'll measure,
Hey.
baby. Oh,
I'm leaving you.
don't leave me. Stump these boys out and get back to the house before Elsa rears her head again. What are you saying?
Yep.
Stump them in the tidy cats.
You might be wondering whether we decided it was better to have the crab traps right side up or down. My best advice, go with nature. When crabs feel confined, they swim up, so your bait container should be on the bottom. But whether right side up or down, we had an awesome week. Caught a ton of crabs.
Show you how to handle. You got to manhandle these crabs sometimes.
I actually don't.
You actually don't want to manhandle these crabs. They can be.
Exactly. My equipment.
These actually can be quite aggressive, and I've learned that because I almost lost a feeling in the end of my index finger for
No, you did lose your feeling for about 3 or
4 months. It actually pulled muscle out the end of my finger, so they can be ill-tempered. So what you want to do is just put them into like an iced saltwater bath, brings their temperature down, slows them down, and it's going to numb them up for the cleaning process that you're getting ready to go through. So grab you a crab out of there, Ryan. Ryan's going to help me today. We got a bunch of crabs to work our way through. So what you're going to do, buddy, is lay them right there in your hand, just like this. Pull that swimmer fin down, pop the carapace off.
Ow, that hurts.
Okay, drop it free. Pull it all the way free. Okay. So now what we're gonna do, these are all gills right here. We're gonna clear all these, pull them all off.
All these things.
Yeah, pull all those off. These are the mandibles up here. Clear all that. Grab it and pinch it and pull it free. Okay? So this is a male. Can we tell? Makes sense. Okay. Take one of these crab legs, reach down underneath there and grab that little, that, reach underneath there, pop it up, grab it. Grab that with your hand. You're gonna break that whole thing loose, like this. Whoop. Pops loose, just like that. All right, now we're gonna grab the hose and just wash this out. Just wash the rest of that out from the inside of that crab, ready?
Mine's clean.
So once we're done with that, it's garbage day. We're filming here!
Lovely.
Once we're done with that, we're gonna drop our crabs down in the bag, okay? Let's get yours done here. All right, I'm tired of cleaning crabs. I'm gonna put these other 2 to work. Well, Ryan's been helping me. We'll get Afton out here to clean some too.
Believe it or not, how you clean your crabs, or if you clean your crabs, is a polarizing topic. For some recipes, it's best to leave them whole. We elected to clean them because of the recipe we had in mind.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, baby, we are ready to cook. Any guesses as to what we're making tonight? Crab cakes! Homemade, scratch-made crab cakes. And I'm excited. I've never done this before, but I got a pretty good idea how to do it. So we'll show you guys the good, bad, and the ugly here as we try this for our first time. Start with a bunch of crabs. And what you're gonna want here is take a cluster. This is what you normally call a crab cluster. And this is basically just half of a crab. You take one and just split it in 2. It's like this. Each half of this crab is a crab cluster. And that's the front claw, the legs, and then this back swimmer fin. What we're really after here, in order to make good crab cakes, is jumbo lump crab meat. And that's, you see that the body of the crab has these like sections in it. The back section that's attached to the swimmer fin back here, which is what the crab uses primarily for propulsion, is gonna be your jumbo lump crab meat. the biggest hunk of crab meat that you're gonna get out of the body of this crab. Now we're certainly gonna take the rest of this and we're gonna take the claw meat and everything else, but that jumbo crab meat, that's what you're gonna want to just pack into those crab cakes, as much of it as you can get in there. All right, first step here is we're gonna steam our crabs. And you could do this a couple of different ways. You could boil them, you could steam them. Some people say that steaming them keeps more of the juices inside the crab meat that's inside, like the legs and the shell. That ship has partially already sailed because we already cleaned them and took the carapace off. But I'm gonna go ahead and steam them anyway and just see what the flavor turns out like. Got a little bit of blood on my shirt here. That's how you know it was a good day fishing. For now, we just roll the sleeves up. Good to go. All right, so I'm gonna use the same pot that I use for a seafood boil. Looking through my garage, I have a steamer basket against all odds. I don't know why I'm surprised by that. You see my garage, you wouldn't be surprised either. I got 2 of most things and 1 of everything in there. And these things are cool. It has like an adjustable arm on either side of it, so you can adjust the height that it's gonna hang down inside this pot. Basically, you want to hang those crabs or whatever you're steaming down low and close to the water, which is gonna be the source of your steam, without them actually touching the water and starting to boil. All right, so I've got 1.5 inches or so of water in here, just barely up to the bottom of this basket. We're gonna add a little bit of light beer in here. Gonna go ahead and bring this to a boil, and then we'll add our crabs. I am not a crook. I am not a crook. Let's get the crab counter going. I wanna know how many go in this basket. 6, 12, 36, I don't know. That's a cluster, that counts as half. That makes 4, that makes 5. I'm gonna stop with that. Even though these crabs are laying in there, they're kind of sparse. I think the steam can kind of, you know, work its way around and cook all of them at the same time. I could probably fit 2 dozen or more in this basket, but I'm gonna stop here. We'll do this, clean this batch, and then we'll do the next batch. We're learning as we go. All right, so ready to go over here. We've got our baskets of clusters of crabs, and we're ready to drop this sucker in there. Make sure we're not dripping everywhere. This many crabs, I'm thinking I probably need to go 8 to 10 minutes. And because I've already kind of done some cleaning on these things and removed the carapace, I'm really nervous about overcooking them, despite the fact that I've got a bunch of them piled in that basket. Let's start with 8 minutes. Ooh, they're looking good. We're gonna get a look at this. They're looking red. I think that's a good thing. Definitely gonna want these suckers to cool before I start cleaning. Probably how a T-Rex feels when it's got to make its bed. Dump these guys out right here. They're looking good. Oh, you can kind of see, look, you can really see the difference here. You got a big, look at this big hunk of crab meat back at the back. That is your jumbo lump crab meat. That's what's attached to this section in the swimmer fin back here. That is what we're after. Oh, look at that. That looks absolutely awesome. We want to break that stuff loose. You can just hear all the moisture in it. I'm kind of breaking it apart. We're gonna drop it down in a bowl here. I want to keep the jumbo lump crab meat separate from everything else so that I can make like the prime rib of crab cakes. I'm gonna give that one to Afton. Now to get the rest of this meat out, we're gonna use this handy dandy little tool that I got from Joe's Crab Shack. They want you to steal it. That's why they write it on there. It's good marketing. You see how they have these little clear, kind of like a divider in between the various sections? I don't want to get that mixed in with my crab meat, but y'all look at this flaky, awesome crab meat right here. This is jumbo lump crab meat, as fresh as it gets. I'm gonna eat it. Man, that is good. I almost don't even want to wait and make crab cake, but I'm gonna wait. All right, this is not quick, but it's definitely a lot of fun. Kids are enjoying, they're pitching in. Everybody just get together and pick and peel and kind of munch on the crab meat as you go. Take your time, enjoy being together. All right, let's get started making the crab cakes. We've been refrigerating the crab meat for a little bit. Now we're gonna make the sauce that's gonna go in there and kind of combine everything together and help to make the actual crab cake. So we're gonna use eggs, mayonnaise, mustard, a little bit of salt, Worcestershire, Old Bay, and some parsley. And then just for a little bit of crunch, apologies in advance to you Maryland crab cake purists, but we're gonna add a little bit of celery in there. Hope you guys don't mind too much, so let's get started. To our 2 eggs, we're gonna go ahead and add our mustard, our mayonnaise, our Worcestershire, pinch of salt, Old Bay, parsley, celery, greenery. So we're gonna fold in our pound, close to a pound of crab meat, jumbo lump crab meat and lump crab meat with about a half a cup of panko, which is breadcrumbs. We're gonna do this a little bit at a time and just kind of fold this in together. Be really careful as you stir in your crab meat. You don't want to just break this stuff apart any more than I already have during the kind of the picking and the peeling process. You don't want to break this stuff up. You want to keep the lumps just as big and as fluffy as you can. All right, now we're gonna make these into crab balls or crab cakes and just put them onto a lined sheet pan. We're gonna refrigerate these for about an hour.
With the crab cakes refrigerating, let's go ahead and make some homemade tartar sauce. Start with a mayonnaise base. Add lemon juice, diced sweet relish, Dijon mustard, chopped purple onion, pinch of salt, pepper, stir and refrigerate.
All right, here we go. Crab cakes have been in for about an hour. We're gonna throw those on medium-high heat in a pan, vegetable oil, and we're gonna do those for about 3 to 5 minutes per side until they are just golden brown and ready to go. Let's do it. That hour of refrigeration is important because it helps these crab cakes just kind of come together and almost solidify. Here we go. Here we go. Smells so good.
What do you think, dude?
Smells amazing.
Oh, they're quite warm. That pan is exceptionally warm. Oh yeah, bud.
Oh, that looks insane.
Looks insanely good. All right, Afton insisted on a very artsy plating for this thing, so.
I did.
Oh, busted.
Funny guy.
It's already on film, so we can't get rid of it. Ryan, here you go. Let's taste these things. Let's get rid of the parsley that nobody wants to eat. And let's give them a taste test. Do you want some homemade tartar sauce?
I'll try some after.
Okay, give it a bite. Go ahead and cut into one. Pick one. Oh man, it's so soft, just flaky. Homemade tartar sauce. What do you think, Ryan?
Can't get the actual curd out.
My goodness!
High fives.
What do you think?
So good.
What do you think? Are you glad you stayed up? You'd stay up for a can of Spam. I know you would. But oh my goodness, look at this lump meat right here. Son. You love it, seriously? Yeah, you gotta get in here. Give me the camera.
I'm getting them.
Give me the camera, come here. Afton.
No, look at my hair, y'all. What?
That's going in the video.
No. Oh no, turn that off.
Afton.
I'm definitely doing some sauce on mine. I love the sauce. That was really good. This is really good.
All right, this is where unfortunately I have to leave you because if I don't get down here and defend my turf, I'm not gonna get any more of these crab cakes. Man, this was absolutely awesome. I think our first time making these, a success. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. God bless every single one of you.
Ow!